Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Andrew, or Drew as everybody knows me. I'm currently not with Mike, as you can tell. I'm actually on location with Stray Dog Brewing in Orleans, and one of the co-owners, co-founders, Marc, is
Okay.
here. We're a part of the beer and hot wing eating competition today, in partner with Stray Dog, obviously hosting it. Curry is here. We met them at the iHeart Beer and Taco Festival in February, and we kind of connected and whatever. We're been looking for a chance to get together.
Yeah, no, this
So
is perfect.
this is perfect, and yeah, thanks for having us.
My pleasure. Thanks for the invite, and
No worries.
yeah, happy to talk to you, man.
Yeah. So now, like, I've heard of you guys, not very much, but I mean enough that I knew you existed and whatever. I didn't know until I've done some research, like
Yep,
how
that's
long
fair.
you've been around. And this year, July marks your 8-year anniversary,
That's correct.
right? So that's gonna be a pretty exciting time for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting that we're here after 8 years.
Sure.
Never planned a pandemic in the
No,
business
right.
plan, so I always say that's like 3 lost years.
Right.
Because I mean, to be perfectly honest, I mean, we were on this really great growth trajectory.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when the pandemic hit, everything just kind of reset.
Mm-hmm.
And so when everything started opening up again, it's almost like reintroducing yourself
Yeah.
to an already known audience.
Yes.
And you basically, what I found actually in the last several years is you've got to work twice, 3 times as hard now to get those same results as you did beforehand. Part of that's the pandemic.
Yep.
Part of that's also because the first 3 years we were the new kids.
Right.
And right, so we're riding that honeymoon wave.
Right.
And people were stoked. We were the first brewery in Orleans to open up.
Yep.
But now, like the world has changed in so many ways, especially in our industry.
Yeah.
Since the time we've opened, we've legalized cannabis.
Right.
We've seen an uptick, huge sales actually for RTDs, so ready
Sure.
to drink cocktails and stuff. Seltzers have boomed,
Mhm.
and now we're in an age where non-alcoholic
Yes.
beverages and
Yeah.
beer in particular is really, it's a trend that's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we definitely have to work a lot harder to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
the same results. At the same time, I love those challenges because without reinventing ourselves, you're adapting to an ever-changing landscape.
Right.
And I think that's really important for any small business to stay relevant and to address consumers' needs.
100%. And then also to grow your business, like, because we're in an age specific range, right? So to be relevant to who are current 16-year-olds
Yeah.
in 3 years, right? Like, legal drinking age in Ontario is 19.
Yep.
So you still want to be the, like, evident or present
Mhm.
in 2028.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's funny because we were talking to somebody who was asking us these questions that really kind of force us to really um, focus on, like, what is our core demographic?
Sure.
And somebody had asked me that before. I'm like, well, everybody,
Yeah.
men and women, all everybody, age group, everybody, it's craft beer. But that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
Every brewery has its own vibe. Every brewery,
Yep.
every business has its own audience, right?
100%.
So for us, I think you look at any typical day in here, it's a pretty good mix of male and female.
Yeah.
Target audience wise, though, we're looking at 35 to 55.
Okay.
That's not to say we don't get people older and we don't get people that are younger.
Right.
But I think if you look trend wise, like even if you look at some of the data that's out there right now,
Yep.
young people are not drinking alcohol nearly as much as
They are not.
as us as we thought. We're certainly not binging like we used to,
Oh,
or
goodness,
still do. And there's a lot of other choices out there too, right?
Yep.
So those challenges and just sort of honing in on what your true audience is,
Yep.
just kind of gets you a little bit more hyper focused.
Sure.
That's not to say you're excluding anybody else,
Right.
because there's room for everybody, but it just means that your messaging is a little bit more on point. This is just the type of stuff that you
Yeah.
do. It's a wide range for everybody, but at the same time, you're kind of you're narrowing it down a little bit more. So you're just kind of, it's not a shotgun blast of ideas.
Sure. Right. No, and I like that. That you know or have identified your target demographic right now, but it's still everybody, right? So
Absolutely.
you have that tunnel vision, but you're also looking at your peripherals.
Yeah.
So I love that. I mean, a little bit, you probably don't know, like we just met 20 minutes ago, but I used to work at the Whitewater Brewing Company.
Oh yeah, right on.
I was in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I know Chris,
Yep.
and I know James a little bit, and their
Yep.
head brewer Sean, and we worked really closely. And I mean, as far as I didn't get into like the demographic stuff, but beer wise, same challenges were there, and I haven't been there for 8 years.
Yep.
And they had the same ideas, and then they came through the pandemic just as you. And you know, it's nice to see that everybody's kind of recovering.
Yeah.
Not recovered. I would still say it's going to take a little bit of time, but recovering, right? So it's nice.
Yeah, I mean, when we opened, we were at the plateau of the Ontario craft beer boom.
Yep.
Where you would see a new brewery open up every 3 months.
Yes.
And now you're seeing one close every 6 months, or doing more, I'll say collaborations,
Sure.
but they're trying to find those efficiencies,
Yes.
working with other breweries.
Right.
I think it's forced other breweries to open their doors and their minds to work with
Yeah.
other breweries just to, find those efficiencies, but also to work together.
Yeah.
Funny that you bring up Whitewater. Just a little quick story, because I love this story.
Sure.
So I don't even know if I was home brewing at the time. I don't even think, no, I'm pretty sure I wasn't home brewing, but I was,
Okay.
but I was into like craft beer.
Sure.
And Whitewater, they just had their Riverside pub. That was the only place I was.
Yes.
And my kids were quite young, and I was still working at Blood Services, and we were camping out in Lac Dory.
Okay. Yeah.
So not far, right?
Not far at all.
So I decided to take a little bit of a day trip
Yep.
out to Whitewater,
Yep.
grab some growlers, and bring them back to the campsite.
Sure.
And I walk in, and Chris, not the Australian Chris, but the other Chris,
English,
but
but low tower they call them.
yeah, sorry,
Low tower,
low tower,
low tower, and high tower.
Yeah, I didn't want to say little Chris, but I just did. So
I'm sure
if you're listening to this, little Chris, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But compared to the other Chris, I mean, we're all kind of small.
Sure. Right.
But anyway, yeah. So I walk in, and we started chatting a little bit about beer.
Yeah.
And Chris said, "Have you ever heard of Hetty Topper before?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Do you want to try it?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, would I ever?" Somebody had brought him a can
Oh yeah.
of Topper.
Really.
So he goes into the fridge, comes out with this can, and he splits the can with me.
Nice.
We had met. That was the first time we'd ever met.
Yeah.
Didn't know me from a hole in the wall.
Right.
I'd never tried Hetty at all.
Yeah.
And man, it just totally blew me away.
Like
I'll-
what beer can be.
Yep. And I will always remember, like, I tried so many other different types of craft beer, but I'd never had anything like that before.
Right.
Literally changed my life. And I'll always remember Chris for doing that, and just his generosity, and just how cool, how amazing, and how just how embracing the industry can be. You know what I mean? Like we gather over beer.
That's it.
I mean, it doesn't get simpler or better, or just breaks down so many barriers. You know what I mean? It's just the coolest thing.
Beer brings people together.
Yeah, it's the best social lubricant I think out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, that was a really great introduction to what we're doing here. So typically at this point in the show, my partner Mike and I, my brother-in-law Mike and I, we would crack a beer. Yeah, I already have one here. So this is Shag and Wagon.
Yeah, it's classic.
So good.
Yeah,
The New England IPA.
you got it. Yeah, it's our best-selling beer. Has
It's
been
unreal.
for years. Thank you.
It's unreal.
Yeah, Justin, who's my partner, brews all the beer. He, I don't think he gives himself nearly enough credit, but yeah, he's a master back there. Like he just makes consistently good to great beer.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I mean, I met Stray Dog at the iHeart Beer and Taco Festival, and there were so many vendors there.
Yeah.
And you wanted to be able to walk out of there at the end of the day, right? Not just like get put in a wheelbarrow. So I had a couple from Stray Dog.
Okay.
And they were delicious. Absolutely delicious. We use Untapped all the time, like my brother-in-law and I. And this beer is actually number 900 for me.
Oh, congratulations.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here and celebrate that milestone with you guys.
Yeah, like it's like Travis Hamonic in games, you know, you
Right.
just hit that 900 milestone.
That's it. So I kind of might have sandbagged this a little bit because we had some things we were going on yesterday. We were having supper, and I stopped at $8.99,
Okay.
and I was like, "We're going here tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want number 900 to be at the brewery with you guys." So I'm super happy that I can be a part of that.
Yeah, that's outstanding. Very cool.
You mentioned home brewing, and like, how did you start into home brewing? Were you like, the investment alone is scary to somebody or most people,
Yeah.
but then like, if you could, and I'm sure you talked about this 100 times, home brewing, test it on your friends and family. I'm
Yep.
sure there was some, what I like to call drain drinkers. You know, it's like, oh, that's not good, let's all not drink that one. But then you enter into competitions.
Yep.
How did that all start?
So the home brewing part?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my son was playing baseball at the time,
Okay.
and it was the end of the year, and we were having a like a team party.
Yep.
And it was at one of the so I was one of the assistant coaches as
Okay.
well, and one of the other coaches, he's got this house out in Cumberland.
Yep.
In the forest. It's beautiful. It's
Sure.
I call it the grotto because in the backyard there was like hot tub and a pool and rocks and waterfalls
Oh,
and all
yeah.
this kind of crazy shit.
It's like out of a magazine.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing. But I was told like you got to come to the party
Sure.
because one of the other coaches, his name is Andre Lalonde,
Okay.
and this name is very important to me because he was like, I always say like he was Heisenberg for me. He was Walter White and I was Jesse.
I gotcha.
Yeah, yeah,
Totally
like,
gotcha.
yeah. So it's like you got to come because this guy Andre makes his own beer and it's
Okay.
great. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, all right, cool. So I go into the backyard and there's this gazebo.
Yep.
And so I go into the gazebo because that's where the beer is. I walk in and there's one of those green bins,
Okay.
right? Like the
Yep.
recycling green bins.
Yep.
But instead of like trash inside, outside of it, there's like a tap handle.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I'm getting curious now. So I
Sure.
open it up. There's a corny keg
Yep.
and a bunch of ice and like, you know, these lines coming out and gas and all that stuff. So
Yep.
I'm like, all right. So I grab a red Solo cup
Sure.
and I pull myself a pint and it was an American ale using, I believe it was all Amarillo hops.
Okay.
Probably the best beer I've ever had at that time.
Yeah.
Like I was like, holy crap. This guy made this beer.
Sure.
So I just totally fanboyed and I went over to Andre and I'm like, dude, you made this? And in my head, I'm picturing like, you know, he's talking about like, yeah, homebrewers. And I'm
Sure.
picturing a bunch of like guys in like wizard hats and these cauldrons in their garages and,
Right.
you know, just stirring it all up.
Yeah.
I remember when my uncle was making homebrew and basically he was just going to like a pure brew or whatever,
Sure.
pitching yeast. It would be in a 2-liter plastic PET bottle and it tasted like crap,
Right.
but it got you drunk. This tasted like beer,
Right.
but not just commercial beer. This tasted better than commercial beer. It had character, it had flavor.
Yeah.
It was just hitting all the right spots, right?
Sure.
So I asked Andy, I said, I would love to just learn how you do this.
Yep.
I would love to learn. And so he became my mentor.
Yes.
I would go every Friday night to his place. He had this amazing setup, 3-vessel system.
Oh, wow.
I believe they were cut like kegels, basically.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, this is a really awesome setup. So I just learned from him. I took notes. I asked a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And then I emulated back at home.
Sure.
Built my home system based on that, on
Yep.
the 3-vessel kegel system. It wasn't the first time I had brewed though. I did like a stovetop first with
Okay.
extract, see how that went.
Yep.
Get the understanding of how it went. I moved on to a brew in a bag.
Okay.
So I tried that
Yeah.
as well. That was my first all grain.
All right.
I also did some Festa brews as well, which I think is also important if you're getting into home brewing because it keeps kind of like the pipeline going.
Sure.
And you also learn probably the most important thing about brewing in general, and that's cleanliness, sanitizing,
Yep.
and learning about like fermentation, temperature, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. Sure.
And so all that this hobby just was totally encompassing.
Right.
And it just consumed me, and I fell in love with it because I was making stuff that was as good, if not better, than what I could buy in the store.
Right.
And when you can do that as an individual, you know, that opens up so many doors.
Yeah.
And you can give yourself a pat on the back and go, man, I can't believe I just made this, you know? And when you start giving it to friends and family and they're telling you they like it, start wondering, like, are they just telling me this because they're telling me what I want to hear?
Sure.
So then you start entering into competitions.
Right.
Because now you have people that don't know you from a hole in the wall.
Right.
And they're going to give you some quality feedback that's going to make you even a better brewer.
Right.
So that's what I did. I started entering into competitions.
Yep.
Being part of the homebrew community in Ottawa is pretty awesome because there's you know, it's a pretty big community. I was part of the members of parliament or the mob.
Yep.
And that's how I met Justin, actually, was through the East End mob guys. We were called the Dweebs.
Okay.
Stood for drinking with East End brewers. I feel like I'm
excellent acronym.
I feel like I'm giving away all these like these secret society stuff,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah.
And now I know like there's another growing Ottawa homebrew society.
Oh, great.
They are fantastic, very, very well organized as well. So there is definitely a great scene here in Ottawa.
Yeah.
And I was really happy. Like they basically gave me the push and the passion to get to this point.
Excellent. That's so awesome to hear. And you know, like, no, like we're in Pembroke, so we're an hour and a half, an hour 15 minutes west of Canada. But just the Ottawa scene and the Eastern Ontario beer scene is unreal. Like we talk about my brother-in-law, they live outside of Guelph and Acton.
Yep.
And there's Third Moon down there. There's a bunch of other places, but the Ottawa scene it's crazy. Like there's you guys, there's big rigs around, whippersnappers around here too. Broadhead shares the same building as you guys.
No, they're just literally right around the corner. Like you can stumble from here.
Well, we might later.
Yeah.
Depends on how it goes.
Yeah.
But then, like there's Orleans Brewing Company.
Yep.
I think it's already said Whippers.
Yep. Tooth and Nail.
Tooth and
Beyond
Nails,
like
Dominion City.
Yep. I mean, these are all, you know, even in our planning stage.
Yeah.
You know, we like Justin and I, we went and visited. We talked to Shane.
Yep.
At Beyond the Pale.
Okay.
He gave us some great advice on like size of the boiler. You know, working with steam. You know, we worked at Bicycle when they first opened.
Bicycle Craft.
Yeah. So they needed help when they first opened. We were like bottling growlers from kegs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, using a Blickman gun in the back. And the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. There's also got to be a better way of doing this.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
But you know, like I had already been exposed to the craft beer scene by I was one of Brew Donkey's very first tour guides.
Right.
So I got to meet pretty much every owner, every brewer in the region. Everybody had their own story, but everybody was awesome.
Yeah.
And another reason behind that was we didn't want to make the same mistakes they did.
Right.
You know, we just wanted to make our own mistakes, and then hopefully other people can learn from us as well.
Yep.
So, you know, like Dom City was great. Like when we needed some hoses, like they were there for us, or like bags of grain or yeast. Everybody was just really, really thankful. I know that, like I learned a lot from Matt Tweedy at Tooth and Nail. You know, that guy, man, he probably makes, I would say, some of the best, cleanest, on point beer.
Yeah.
If not in the city, in the province. Highly underrated, I would say.
We're going to have to make a visit there for sure.
Oh my gosh. I can't say enough.
Yeah. It's such a brotherhood, the craft brewery industry, brotherhood, sisterhood, family, ship, neighborhood, whatever we want to call it. Me being a part of it in the kitchen, even that was incredible, but you get to meet all these different people. Like there was, since now they've closed, but there was Square Timber.
Yeah. Well, that's the other. Yeah. So I knew Marc Brew, back again through my homebrewing days. I remember going to another mob event. It was called BSB, another acronym for you.
Okay.
I think it was called like Big Strange Brew or something like that.
Okay.
We'd go out to this person's house out in Merrickville.
Sure.
And it would just be a weekend of like drinking beer, brewing beer, sitting around a campfire.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. But so Marc was there and he made his Belgian waffle beer, and it used like maple syrup.
Yes.
So his ex
Probably
fa-
from his property.
yeah, his
Yep.
ex-father-in-law had a bunch of maple trees, and so
Yeah.
he would help him get the sap.
Yep.
And it was this 10% Belgian strong beer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So smooth, so sweet. And
Unreal.
he brought a couple of growlers, and he would just pour me like a little bit in the glass.
Yeah.
And, I'm looking at it going like, you cheap bastard.
Yeah.
And then I took a sip of it. I'm like, this is delicious. He goes, yeah, like it's 10%.
Just wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's why you're only giving me a little bit. And yeah, I don't remember the rest of the evening. I do remember how good that was.
Yep.
I do remember him talking about his plans for opening up Square Timber.
Sure.
And I was just so envious of that position. I'm like, God, it's hopefully someday that would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just to sort of circle back about, like the craft beer community.
Yep.
And like the brotherhood, sisterhood thing. And I think a lot of it can be said about like the food industry as well, where at the end of the day, we're just fans of other beer and other brewers.
Yep.
They inspire us. And I think the same could be said in the restaurant industry too, right? Like,
I think so.
when you're a really good chef and you've had other people's food, you can admire them for what they do, and they inspire you to be better, to do different things, to work outside of your comfort zone sometimes.
Yep.
So yeah, I think they both work kind of hand in hand, and yeah, you can't work in a silo,
No,
otherwise you're just stuck. So I highly recommend anybody, if you're in any kind of industry, you look outside of it, be inspired by what other people are doing.
Yep.
You don't necessarily have to emulate them, but I hope that their work pushes people to be better at what they do.
Well, you're just going to try to advance and grow the industry in general. Like, if you're not competitive to a certain degree,
Sure.
right? How do you develop an 8% coconut stout, right? If you haven't tried 6.5% stout somewhere else, you know what I mean? Like, so advancing the industry and showing things and getting the industry going forward. I think that's one of the main reasons that I'm so drawn to craft beer, is that it's not the exact same, but it is similar everywhere.
Yeah.
So like you said, I mean, you can pick from each person and then you're good to go.
Yeah. I mean, I've visited other breweries in the States. Some of them have been great and very accommodating.
Yep.
And, some of them not so much. But that comes down sometimes to personality more than anything. Sometimes it's, we don't know you from a hole in the wall. But I do remember it was actually the February Family Day weekend before the pandemic, before everything shut down in March. And Justin and we brought down two of our employees, Bert and Mary. We went down to Vermont.
Okay.
Just to get inspired, just to see what's going on.
Right.
And so we stayed in Burlington, and we visited some just absolutely amazing breweries. A shout out to Frost and Foam, who are very accommodating. But I would say one of the best visits was Lawson's.
Yeah.
So Lawson's has been around for a while. I would say they're one of the OGs, certainly in the New England area.
Sure.
If anybody's ever had Sip of Sunshine,
can't say that I have.
Oh man, so if you want to talk about fruity, juicy, tropical, hazy NEPAs, Sip of Sunshine is that's your jam right there. That's it.
I think I know a guy in our inner circle that would love that. Chris, that's probably for you.
Oh, it's so that one's good. And then my favorite is Double Sunshine.
Okay.
It's got more of a West Coast kind of slant to it.
Sure.
It's amazing.
Sweet.
So again, they started off sort of home brewing, and they just kind of built up, and their brewery is phenomenal. It's in Waitsfield, Vermont.
Okay.
Just in the shadows of Sugarbush Ski Hill.
Okay.
And they've got so their brewery is kind of it's a separate building from the tap room.
Okay.
The tap room, they call it the cathedral because it's like this big giant log house, mansion, cabin. I don't know what you want to call it, church.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And it is so incredible. And it's like a ski hill.
Sure.
It's like a ski chalet, but with beer.
Right.
And it just hits all the right notes. And my God, they could not be more accommodating.
Really? Eh?
Yeah. And I don't mean to sound surprised by it, but they didn't have to be. We're just some little brewery from Orleans, Ontario.
Right.
But man, that was just the coolest thing to me. I thought that was the way they treat us. And I just, that's how we try to do that with everyone else as well, you know,
Yeah,
because
that's
I think that's really important.
absolutely. So I'm curious. So you and Justin meet through competitions, from what I understand,
Yeah.
and then you're like, "Hey, we're gonna do this." So how did Stray Dog come about?
Like the name or the business or,
Well, I mean, the business I can understand. Like, hey, we're both pretty good at brewing beer.
yeah.
Let's do this together.
Yep.
I get that. And I've read on the website kind of the background behind the name Stray Dog, but I mean, if you could simplest form it for me, like for everybody else out
my
there.
elevator pitch for what does Stray Dog
Yeah,
stand for.
yeah,
So every time I do a tour, I'll say the same thing.
Sure.
It's a metaphor. It's a
Okay.
metaphor for life. So this is where I get a little philosophical,
Sure.
try to get a little deep.
okay,
So a lot of times, a lot of people that I meet in life, you know, we're all kind of, and myself included, you know, I was just kind of working through the weekend. And I always felt there's got to be more to life than this.
yep,
But, you know, I had a house. I still have a house,
yeah,
kids, mortgage.
yep,
I had a job where in the first time of my life for probably 8, 10 years that I was working there, I had a pension and
Yep.
I had health benefits and, you know, life was really, really good.
sure,
And, I I liked my job,
yep.
but I didn't love it. You know what I mean?
You
Like,
weren't excited on Sunday night.
no, like
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, yeah. So nothing to take away from that, but I just knew that there had to be more to this
Sure.
than just,
Yep.
you know, working 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So, um, so I had this passion of brewing beer in my garage, and you know, it was starting to grow, and you know, people were really enjoyed it.
Yep.
And I met Justin, and we would have these same conversations, drinking beer around the kitchen table,
Sure.
saying there's got to be more, and we wanted more for ourselves and
Yep.
for our future and for
Sure.
our children. But there's always that fear that a lot of people have of leaving that life of comfort
Mhm.
and security behind.
Yep.
So take a stray dog, for example. It's free to roam the world
Yep.
and chase whatever it wants, and seems relatively happy, right? For
Sure.
the most part.
Yep.
And so the vision for Stray Dog was the same thing, where cut those metaphorical leashes or chains that
Yep.
hold us back, so that you can chase whatever passion you aspire to go towards.
Sure.
And now I'm not advocating for people on Monday to go in and quit their jobs and then, you know, because it's
Yeah.
not easy. It's certainly
for
not.
everyone.
No, it's really not for everyone.
Yep.
But if you have that desire and you have that passion, and I'm sure there's people that will be listening to this and can probably appreciate it. There's no guarantee of tomorrow.
Nope.
And so life's for living, you know, and if life is not making you happy, find your happiness. And if that happens to be becoming an entrepreneur or finding your hobby and turning that into something else, or just finding something that makes you happy, then do it. For us, it was opening up our own business, and just making beer that we were passionate about,
Sure.
and creating a space that people felt like they were home,
Yes.
felt like a stray dog needs eventually a place to belong. And so that, I think, is what we've built sort of organically. And it's not like something Justin and I consciously sort of did. It just happened. And it's
Yep.
really the people that come here, the people that work here, that really create that atmosphere, that vibe.
Yeah.
And you can't put that in a bottle and sell it. It's just either you've got it or you don't.
That's it. I love it. That's a great, not only just for business, but like, yeah, absolutely a way to live life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty fortunate in my job now. Like, I'm excited for Sunday night. I'm excited for Monday. I
Mhm.
love my job. The team that I have, they're wicked. My boss is excellent. But I sometimes I wonder about things.
Yep.
I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to take that jump yet, but no, I love this for you guys for sure. I got a couple more things for you, and then I'll let you go for today. I know you're a busy guy.
It's all good.
Favorite beer you've ever made all time?
Oh wow, man, that's
Put you right on the spot here.
yeah. So are we talking like a homebrew beer or a straight dog beer?
Do you have both?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I do. So I've got, so there's two homebrew beers. I'm laughing because I'm thinking of the name of one of
Sure.
them. And actually, Justin and I, it was our first sort of homebrew collab.
Okay.
And it was the inspiration for a beer we made here eventually called Guilty Pleasure.
Okay.
But homebrew wise, you could be a little bit more, you'd be a little bit more edgy with your
Sure.
names and so we called it Stinky Pinky. But it won Best of Show.
There you go.
Yeah, and it was a porter.
Yep.
And it had toasted coconut and
Okay.
toasted coconut nibs and some vanilla. It was amazing. But when you start scaling that up to a commercial level, that becomes a very expensive beer.
I could imagine.
But man, oh man, was it ever delicious.
Stinky Pinky.
Yeah, old Stinky Pinky.
Okay.
And when it won Best of Show, they had to announce it over the mic.
Sure.
Yeah, so that was a lot of
That's
fun.
awesome.
The other one I made at home was the first time I ever made a saison.
Okay.
I clocked in at a nice crisp 9%.
That's
Yeah,
not bad at all.
and people like hockey parents that would come over and drink it out of my kegerator.
Sure.
They had no idea. They were just pounding that back until like
Until they couldn't stand up.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
but it's such a good beer.
Yeah.
And then I think when it comes to like a Stray Dog beer, Tropical Knockout is coming out again. It's a hazy pale ale.
Okay.
I absolutely love that beer
Yeah.
because it hits all the right notes where it's again super hazy. It's got all that nice stone fruit, a little
Yeah.
bit of peach, but it clocks in at just 5.4%, 5.5. So nice. It's crushable. It's still like got a nice dry finish. It's crisp. And then the other one is our Jagged Little Pilsner.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about a nice clean Pilsner.
Yep.
If you make a mistake, you can't dry hop the shit out of it and hide your mistakes. Like
Sure.
it's there for everybody to see.
Yeah.
So when you nail it, that's why I won gold at the Canadian Brewing Awards in 2019.
Awesome.
I'm gonna pump those tires.
That's next on my list for
Yeah.
while we're here today.
Yeah, it's a banger.
Awesome.
And the only regret, is that we only make it once a year because we give it a good proper
Yep.
lagering. So it does take 2 months in the tank.
Okay.
So it does sort of tie things up a bit.
Sure.
So yeah, wish list is maybe some new tanks just to do some lagering, but
Yeah.
and have that around full time. But yeah, it's always worth the wait.
Absolutely. I can't wait to try that today. I actually had the Dark Matter at the brewery or at the iHeart Beer and Taco Festival. Unreal. Unreal.
You know what shocked me about that event actually was we brought Deserted, which was the cousin of Dark Matter. So Dark Matter is an imperial stout with vanilla, and then Deserted is with toasted coconut.
Yes.
And so we brought them both because we were entering February.
Yeah.
Winter's kind of dying down. You're trying to move some stock, and
Absolutely.
imperial stouts don't move that much in the spring or summer.
No, they don't.
And I was shocked how many people were looking for and
So
coming
good.
back crushing 8%ers, man.
So good.
Yeah, and
Unreal.
I was very happy to see that.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
That's wicked. Okay. Least favorite beer all time.
Oh boy.
I mean, you can go homebrew. Let's not go the Stray Dog ones, but like, let's say just the home brews. What's your least favorite one you've ever made? If you have one. If you don't have one, if they're all bangers, I mean, I'm coming to your house.
Yeah. You know what? I haven't brewed beer in my house in years. So yeah, you know what? That's a good one. I don't have a particular least favorite that comes off the top of my head right now, but I am very sensitive to beers that have any sort of trace of diacetyl to it.
Okay.
So that kind of like buttery popcorn,
Yes.
caramelly type of.
Gotcha.
And I know some beers that's sort of the style
Yeah.
for that particular beer.
Right.
It just doesn't sit well with me.
Sure. Okay.
So I try to avoid those as much as possible.
Understandable. Last thing I have for you, just what's your one or two, whatever you got, like beer wisdom? What do you got? What do you got for us?
Beer
Like-
wisdom, eh?
Like you're out and you're standing on a soapbox, you're preaching to people, or
Yeah.
what's the couple of things, or even the most important thing you want people to think about when it comes to Stray Dog beer or just beer in general?
Just honestly, beer in general. What I find funny is, people come in and they say, "Oh, I don't like beer."
Sure.
So there's a couple of things. If you're gluten intolerant, I can understand that.
Yep.
Um, Otherwise, I guess the best thing I can tell people is there is a beer out there for everyone.
Yep.
You just have to try and find the right one that's for you.
Sure.
And I think it's so incredible when somebody says, "Oh, I don't like stouts," or "I don't like dark beer." I'm like, "Okay, well, do you drink coffee?" And if the answer is yes, here, try this one.
Yeah.
As long as people are open to trying, they'll find something that they like.
Yep.
For the most part,
Absolutely.
just to blatantly just kind of close off your mind just because you've had one bad experience or because all you've drank was like macro beer.
A
You
warm
know?
50.
A warm, hey, I like a cold 50.
Yeah.
Love a cold 50. That's the other thing though that I always put this, I like to put this out as a challenge for people is go out and just buy a macro.
Yep.
Get a Coors Light or whatever, Molson or anything, and put it in a glass and leave it on the counter to get to room temperature.
Yep.
And then get a craft beer, get some from Stray Dog, get some from somewhere else.
Yep.
And do the same thing, and then try them side by side. And I can almost guarantee you, that craft beer at room temperature is still going to be drinkable.
Yep.
And that macro is going to taste like ass.
Absolutely.
Yep. And there's a
Absolutely.
reason for that. There's a reason for that, because all the ingredients that we use, it's all natural ingredients. There's no adjuncts or anything that we use unless, you can consider toasted coconut an adjunct or, raspberry, blueberry, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we're not adding like corn syrup. We're not
Right.
adding rice. We're not adding corn to dilute it or get the sugar content up.
Maize or whatever.
We're not doing any of that kind of stuff. And there's a reason why craft beer tastes better in general and room temperature. That's your best taste test right there.
Yep. Yep. No, that's awesome, man. And I think that was awesome.
No, thanks.
Thanks so much for having us.
My pleasure,
Again,
Drew. Thank you.
That's it for me and Marc here at Stray Dog, and we'll be back a little bit later, and we're gonna talk to the Curry guys and get their take on some food pairings and some beer pairings. And highly recommend, if you're in the area, come down see these guys at Stray Dog. You won't be disappointed. See you in a few minutes.
Cheers.
Fuck it, I quit.
No, you can't.
I'm kidding.
You can't. Okay, we're back. The Pint Taking Podcast on site.
Yeah.
With Chef Darryl, my man, brother from another mother,
Yes, sir.
business owner, Curry. We're doing this today.
Finally.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
It's been a long time
It was really cool to meet you and your partner at the Beer and Taco Festival at the
Yeah.
EY Center in Ottawa. And
Well, I
they're doing
gotta-
great things.
You've said that a couple of times, okay? But
Yeah.
my partner, Mike,
Yeah.
he wasn't the one at the Beer and Taco Festival.
Oh, that wasn't him?
That was my wife's cousin's husband, the
Oh.
dude. Shout out to Peter.
Okay, Peter.
But yeah,
What's up, Peter?
we're gonna get Peter on here at some point
Okay.
too, and
Okay, I thought that was your partner.
Yeah.
Okay.
he was
My
my
bad.
partner in crime that day because we put a dent on some tacos.
You
We put a
did.
huge dent
You
in
did.
some of those beers.
And here we are now
Here
in
we are,
Orleans,
finally.
baby.
We've been talking
Where-
about it for a while.
Where are we at?
I think we're at Stray Dog Brewing
That's it.
in Orleans, Ontario. I think you and I pitched the idea, like, have you on the podcast
Yep.
pretty well immediately. Like, you're a magnetic guy, high energy. I had read leading up to the Beer and Taco Festival that, like,
Yeah.
you got to stop by the Curry booth. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I was talking that up all day.
Oh, that's awesome.
By far
That's dope.
the best taco I had since then and that day.
It was a little different because one of the things that I wish that I was able to experience there, and I did walk around, and shout out to all the other vendors, but
Yep.
everybody did exactly what you kind of expected. It was nothing out of the ordinary. So like you had the birria tacos, you had the regular
Yep.
beef tacos, but nobody was really sticking out their neck. And the weird thing, man,
Yep.
about that festival was that, to me, the clients that were going there were so attracted to just keep eating the same things that you can get at any regular restaurant.
Yeah. Or make it
Whereas my partner Romel and I, who you're going to speak to later,
yeah.
decided, I'm like, hey, let's detract from that. Let's kind of put something towards our brand, but let's see what the other people are doing. I'm like, man, everyone's doing kind of the same thing. Let's go
Yeah.
with the curry chicken taco, and nobody was doing that.
Nope.
And we killed with that. Now,
Yes.
my disappointment was I was expecting all these other great brands that were there. They were all going to do things that are within their brand, but like a fusion kind of style idea. Whereas, some of the tacos that I tried during that time were kind of bland. And I was like, okay, I get it, but why are people lining up? Okay, maybe everybody knows these companies and don't know us. It's our first time being involved in like a Mexican style taco festival, which is really outside of our norm. We took it, we put our feet into something different. Now people saw what we do. And the whole goal was to kind of find that new clientele that we didn't have. But it just blew my mind at the end of the day, as chefs walking around. And again, I'm not saying anything bad about any of the companies. It was just like standard tacos.
Yeah.
There was nothing out of the ordinary that really jumped out that caught my attention in terms of food wise.
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, we definitely really love what these guys did. We definitely want to be part of it again. It was really, really cool in terms of that. You guys should be part of that next year. You guys should set up a podcast booth there.
It would be
and interview
dream
beers and all those kind of people.
Well, we could start interviewing beers at the beginning, but
you should definitely set up a booth there and have a station where you guys go and do interviews and call it the Beer and Taco Festival hosted by A Pint Taken. And you guys do a podcast recording of all the vendors, and you sit down with them. Could be 5 minutes each thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do something like that. That could be really great for you.
Yeah, I think so. Like
and even if you want to collaborate with us, and we put you guys in our booth, and we go around and say, hey man, we got this great thing. Do you want to promote your brand? These guys want to interview. You got 5 minutes to come over to our booth. And vice versa. I think it'd be a great way for you to get yourself out there more. I think you only need one. And you do the one in Ottawa. I feel the Ottawa one is more up your lane rather than, obviously podcasts can go anywhere, but to start somewhere, especially where we're already there, we're already got a good working relationship with you.
Absolutely.
I think it would be really cool to collaborate together and set something up.
Yeah,
I'd be down to help you with that. So let's cheers to that.
Cheers to that, man.
Cheers, man.
What are you drinking anyway?
It's called the One. It's a California lager. Yeah, it's a red beer. Yeah. I've been on this pretty much most of the day.
Yes.
One of the things about me, I love all kinds of beers, but I also don't like to mix it up.
Sure.
One of the things now that I've gotten older, that when I start mixing up stuff, it knocks me off.
Hurts the head.
Well, I just like to stick on the palate. It's not that I won't go from that to another thing. I can't go from an ale and go backwards to like a lager. It just tastes awful.
Okay.
So if I'm gonna go from this, I'm gonna go to either IPA. Or more to like a stout.
I gotcha.
Kind of fitting with where my palate's going.
Sure.
Now, if you go backwards, like any kind of beer testing and anything like that, you start with a light, any kind of light lager, and then you work your way up. From, it could be a light lager. They have a couple here, so you can go from a light lager to from a 4.8, then work your way up to a 5.2, and then work your palate up, and then you're doing like the taster kind of light package kind of thing. I've never saw anybody go from a stout backwards. It's just terrible on the mouth. It just tastes awful, man.
And I mean, from a chef perspective that you have, and like I've got a bit of a culinary background as well.
Okay.
And we'll get into that in a few minutes here. But I totally get what you're saying. If you're gonna get in your lane, stay in your lane, and you're in it for the whole day. And it's ironic because like I go to the liquor store and I buy beers, and some days like I'll send it to my partner Mike, and I'll be like, hey, look at all the beers I got today, and maybe it's a 6-pack or an 8 carry out or whatever, and it's all green themed, or it's all hazy IPA themed or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's totally interesting that you said like you get in your lane in a day, for instance, and you're just feeling it and you just go.
It also depends where you start at.
Yep.
Right. What I'm saying, I've seen some people go from drinking a Guinness, for example,
Sure.
and then they're already hammed at like St. Patty's, and they're like,
Yep.
oh, I'll go to Coors Light. I'm like, dude,
Why?
really?
Why?
I'm like, why don't you just
Yeah.
drink really bad stuff? You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like,
It's like going
I'm-
from
look-
caviar
look-
to a bologna
if you're
sandwich.
if you're drinking Coors Light,
Yeah.
you go upward. You don't go backward. It's
Not
like
generally.
cracking an oldie. Remember oldie, the giant in a paper bag? Everybody thought they were a gangster in the 90s
Yeah.
when they saw Menace to
You can get
Society.
it for
Like,
$2.50.
you get it- oh my god,
$2.50.
that was literally piss. I'm gonna just
Yeah,
say it.
it's-
Straight urine. It's awful.
I mean,
But it gets you mad.
if you want,
you drink one
malt
of those,
liquor.
you are destroyed.
yeah,
It's terrible.
they can't even call it beer. It's malt liquor.
Well, if you
Right?
think now at our age, when you started young, you didn't know any better. Like, for example, I used to drink coolers. I used to drink all kinds of crappy wine,
Sure.
cheap tequila.
Yeah.
And now the older you get, you get a more perspective about flavors.
Yep.
It depends on what you do for a living. I mean, you're coming back to the culinary thing. I didn't know anything about really good wines. I was like, oh, everything tastes the same. And then when I got, learning how to be a chef and all that stuff, I started opening up my palate, tasting all this kind of stuff. And then I understood what $10 bottle of wine versus a $100 bottle of wine.
Yeah.
But you never start with the $10 bottle because the $100 bottle of wine will taste exactly like the first one. So you start at the highest. So it really depends on what you're drinking
Yep.
at that point. I mean, if you got a marathon of beers coming along, you get Super Bowl day, you're not smashing 10.1s
No.
at 9 o'clock
Although,
at breakfast.
I mean,
Okay.
would. I would. I go to the liquor store.
Yeah, you're a different beast, man.
I try. I'm having the jagged little pills.
That's a good one.
And they only make it once a year. And Marc was talking about it previously. It's like it takes them 2 months to get this, to get it like
get it,
minimum.
Yeah.
And he said it's only here now. You should have it. And let me tell you this: if you're not rating it 4.5 or higher on Untapped, you're crazy. It's that good. I'm so glad they recommended it.
Yeah,
and
it's a solid beer.
Yeah, I could drink this all day. I won't because there's so many other ones to try. But at the same time, I want to get into, like, you and I met, like I said, at the we were in Taco Festival, and that curry chicken. Holy snapping! Fuck, that was good.
Yeah,
unreal. Well done. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I would have that every Taco Tuesday if I could. 100%.
Honestly, it was really cool because I know you're gonna speak to my partner later
Remy,
on in the show.
Yeah.
He is West Indies.
Yep.
So I'm East Indian. My background culture, and we did a mashup of chicken curry chicken.
Sure.
It's always an ongoing battle.
Yeah.
Of how to say it and the way to say it.
Sure.
But I said to him, I'm like, hey, let's take my culture, your culture, let's mash it up, put it in a taco, and it worked out great. And we sold that out pretty fast, man. That went quick. But
I can see why.
It's because we saw all the other people's menus.
Yeah.
And it was like everything looks the same. You got 5 booths doing birria tacos.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't like a wet taco myself. I do,
you know
but
what? I love birria tacos, but I was going to expect when I went to Taco Festival thinking that everyone else is going to do something off menu, respecting their branding.
Yes.
Whereas I'm like, man, you just made an El Paso taco. You just literally took ground beef,
right?
You put pico de gallo, and you sold it.
Yep.
Shout out to everybody who was there, but I was like, as a client, if I was walking around, I'm like, man, everything looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
So try to stand out. I mean, next year when we come back, we know now what we need to do.
Yep.
We need to, stick with that, but try to add something that can really pop.
Sure.
Now we know what people are doing. Now we got to find a way to pop it out.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I had I was following the iHeart Beer and Taco Festival, the Facebook page,
Yeah.
online, whatever. There was no mention of any other company that was doing tacos leading up to that event in Ottawa, except your company, your and Chef Remy's company.
Oh, weird.
And I read that and it's like, you guys got to check these out.
Yeah.
And I said to Peter, the dude, I'm like, I have to go here.
We were extremely aggressive in terms of promotion.
Yep.
One of the things that was really odd, Andrew, was that all these companies that were doing, I didn't see a lot of them promoting themselves.
Yep.
So when we got there, I'm like, I didn't see any promotion from all these other brands.
Yep.
But it seems like they've been doing it for a long time, that people just knew who they were.
Yep.
Where we were like the new kid on the block trying to knock
Sure.
our way in. Now that we've already been there, now it'd be like, okay, we could lead up to building on top of what we already built from the last year. Listen, to me, it was a new demographic, a new festival we never part of. Like, there's a festival. That's how I met the Stray Dog crew. We did multiple events at that. That's how we met.
The same places. kind of
Same
thing.
places, yeah. So it's like Crave. It's a great festival. It's at the
Oh man.
at the Shaw Center. Well, now it's not. It's Rogers.
EY.
No,
Oh.
Rogers.
Okay.
It's now Rogers Center. It's called Shaw Center now.
Okay.
Downtown Ottawa.
Gotcha.
It's a wine, food, foodie kind of show.
Okay.
And that's how we kind of met, and we've done it for 3 years, and we've killed it there.
Sure.
That we've lineups like nonstop, really well put together festival, and Stray Dogs there, and all the local breweries from Ottawa are there.
Right.
So this is a really great one. So I feel like when you do one, and then people kind of see you at there once, they're like, oh, Curry's back. Oh, I remember that. We did that.
We had that thing last year.
Remember? Oh, what do they got this year?
Yep.
So
Let's get there.
you could build the momentum on those kind of things.
Absolutely.
We've never done it, so it's our first time. So I feel like next year is going to be better for us.
Well, and that'll be
stronger.
That'll be the 4th year for the
Ottawa
Beer and Taco Festival
in Ottawa,
and I'm gonna be there.
Oh,
you bet.
I hope.
I mean, if we're not there as the pint taken, I'll be there. Just
you know what? We got to get that pod taken.
I'll be serving tacos.
Listen, leave that in my hands. I'm gonna get you guys set up. Okay.
Absolutely. But I mean, curry, like the Indo-Caribbean fusion. I mean, you spoke already about like your East Indian background and Chef Remy's West Indian background. I could see how that's the Indian and Caribbean fusion.
Yeah.
Indian food, like East Indian food, has really taken off in the last few years. So seeing
we're taking over, man. We're taking over.
I feel like you guys have been taking over for a long time, but it's becoming mainstream to eat.
Well, there's always why. I mean, I feel food always interchanges, like microbrews.
Yes.
Listen, I lived in Quebec City for 16 years, and when I lived there wasn't a lot of microbrews.
No.
And all of a sudden, when I first lived there was probably, let's say if I go back to 2006.
Yep.
Hey man, there was probably like 6 or 7.
Yep.
Now there's over 350 microbrews
in Quebec City.
The microbrewery game has blown up so big.
Oh, it's
it's an explosion. It's become like comic books.
Yeah.
And food is an ever evolving thing. Like every month there's a new fad. There's like, hot dogs on a stick by a Korean company. Now all of a sudden sushi's in. Butter chicken and naan is a thing. And it just keeps going and going and going and ever changing. I mean, I launched curry in 2017.
Okay.
In Quebec City.
Yep.
I was the first ever chef at home Indian food service company to ever launch in Canada.
Nice.
And I built up on that. Now, I also have a background in music, so I was a DJ all my life, and I used music, all my contacts in the music industry, to compensate me as a chef. Now, I utilized all my contacts in terms of working in that industry to allow me to get contracts, and that built forward to now to 2025. A lot of insane contracts. I started doing private chefing for major clients, festivals, artist shows, concerts, you name it.
Yeah.
I lived in Quebec City for 16 years. I launched in 2017, moved here in 2022. And then a year later, I met Chef Remy.
Okay.
And Chef Remy also had, you're going to talk to him about his story,
Yeah.
had his own catering company. And then we clicked. As you saw, we have really good
chemistry,
synergy.
yeah.
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 And I said to him, you know what? I was looking to redrop my brand here in Ottawa, Gatineau. I stopped my company for a while because I moved and COVID and all those dark times. And,
Yeah.
you know, we all went through that. And then I found somebody that reignited the fire inside of me and like, hey, you have your company.
Yep.
Why do you not do this? And let's team up and rebrand Curry Curry. And within that year, we started getting out there.
Yeah.
We started getting, I was like, let's find every single festival in Ottawa, Gatineau.
Sure.
Let's attack all of them. Let's try to meet everybody.
Yeah.
Remy is amazing social butterfly.
Sure.
But I was like the guy hunting it down, like going up to people and like, what do you do? Who are you? I'm Darryl. This is Curry Curry. Here's my card, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And me and Remy are such a great team together because he's the execution guy, and I'm more of the guy that was like going out and just like putting it out there. Because I started the brand, and I was coaching him on where we want to go.
Okay.
And our synergy in terms of what we do in terms of events and planning and all that, you know, we're working so well as a team that I can only see more further where we're going. And we have a really great year coming up this summer. We have a lot of great festivals. We're doing a lot of chefing for artists again.
Yes.
We're doing the Escapade Festival, which is in Ottawa. This is our 8th year. It's a huge electronic festival, massive. Sure. This year in Ottawa, it's their 15-year anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
And we're also doing another festival in Trois-Rivières in Quebec. It's called Sensation. This is our 3rd year to do that. Okay. Another big electronic festival. And then this summer, we're doing another big festival out in Quebec. It's called Generations. Okay. I'm really excited for that one because I'm a big Nelly Furtado fan.
Okay.
So we get to cook for her. We get to cook for the Black Eyed Peas this summer, Jason Derulo. Last year was really cool. We cooked for Shaquille O'Neal.
No,
that was super cool.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things ever evolving, and right now, in terms of where our business module is going towards, it's not only that. It's like I want to keep doing these fun pop-ups, like supporting local breweries, working with people like yourself. Everybody's a client in the bar right now. Yeah, they could be like, hey, we really like what you did. The food was cool. Can we get your business card? Next thing you know, our business is built on word of mouth. They'd be like, hey, this chef cooked for us. Now that card is going to another person and so forth. So the ever evolving door doesn't stop when it comes to private chefing and catering, things like that. But that being said, where I want our business to go and our module is to continue on that lane, but see where it goes further. Ideally, and Chef Remy will talk to you about it, his dream was a food truck. So you can ask him about that. Okay, I'll stop talking about it. Sure. That was his dream. I wasn't a big believer in that, but I saw his passion. So you know what? I won't talk further about that. You can ask them, hey, I talked to your partner. Tell me about your dream project. Sure. And that's the one. It hit at home for me because I could see in his eyes. He was so driven. It was like, can we just drive to festivals and events and cook food for people and just do that for the rest of our lives? I'm like, yeah, I would love to do that. But we got to kind of build it to get there.
Sure. And there was that boom too, like in the pandemic, pre-pandemic area.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the food truck boom, like they have the great food truck race on Food Network. And I mean, we even in Pembroke, we had a bunch of food trucks. So,
oh yeah, man,
I thought about putting up a food truck myself.
The food truck industry is huge right now because people, lost their restaurants.
Their brick and mortars are done.
So now they let's make a mobile brick and mortar and just travel places, plug in and take 6 months off. But work really, really hard for 6-7 months, extremely hard, and then take the time off to readjust. So one of the things you look at with that, you could, let's say in the summer, you have 50 festivals. You do all of them. Yeah. And then you go back and assess them, like half of them sucked. Next year, I'm going to hit those and then find new ones.
Right.
you got to try them all.
Trial and error.
You can't. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we did that with Curry here. We did a bunch of festivals. Some of them were great. Some of them were like, we're not coming back.
Not so.
Not
great.
that they're not good. It just wasn't good for our style of food
your
and our
ROI.
demographic. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it wasn't great.
It didn't make sense in terms of time and numbers and,
Sure.
and financials.
Yeah.
However, these ones I'm like, oh, boom, boom, boom. These are really great. Let's go back. You know, we did 1 year here. I think it could lead up to another one. Let's try one more time.
Sure.
Kind of.
Yeah. Give it another chance.
You know what? I got a question for you.
Sure.
Where is the avenue going for Pie Taken? Where do you see you and your partner going? I'm
So,
just curious.
I mean, for me, and I can't speak for Mike. I mean, and I was talking to Marc about this. I mean, I love my job currently. I'm
Yeah.
excited for Sunday night.
Yeah.
I like going to work Monday.
Yeah.
The team I have is unreal. I would love to, if the opportunity came up, and to quit my 9 to 5,
Yeah.
and professionally drink beer and talk to people. Right?
Hey man,
Like,
I
what
went
are
from
we doing?
playing music
What are we
to
doing?
cooking food
Yeah.
for people.
I mean, I
You
don't know. I
You
don't know.
can.
I don't know if Mike would want to do that. but
Listen.
I could be that guy
Yeah.
and do this, and we have our regular thing
Yeah.
between us. And we just go from there. I'm pretty sure Mike could be on board of just driving around and
It's called baby
traveling.
steps, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. But
And so far, you guys are doing a fantastic
if
job.
we
and
can get to, some of the big podcasts out there, the New Heights with the Kelsey brothers. I mean, it'd be a few years that we get to Joe Rogan status, but hey,
how do you think?
anything.
How do you get there?
anything?
You got to work your way up.
Absolutely.
Hey, we're not through the roof top catering company, but we got something unique.
Yeah.
We got an elite group of clients that keep booking us.
Yeah.
And we're just plugging away forward. We just keep
Yeah.
driving. And like one of the things is like just being on your show right now. It's
Yeah.
such a great opportunity to develop our business. And it's vice versa, man.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna definitely push your show. We're gonna promote it any way
We appreciate
possible
that,
where
for
I can
sure.
help you out
Yeah.
and talk to other breweries. You go up and do some interviews and start promoting and getting out there. And that's how we did it. Look, we were nobody in this area, and I moved here. I met my business partner, and next thing you know, we're working with different microbreweries. Took us 3 years to work with Stray Dog, and
Yeah.
we worked with them at many events, just
Yeah.
having brews. They were eating our food, and
And
finally
awesome
it
people.
happened.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, Marc.
Oh my
they're great, and
Marc, Jeff,
at the end of the day, what you got to do is just keep plugging away, and I got full faith in you guys to keep going. And I
Sure.
really appreciate being on your show, and I look forward to hear what Chef Remy has to say to you later in the
I'm
segment.
looking forward to it as well.
Thank you again for having me on the Pike Taken, and
Thanks for inviting us.
100%.
Thinking of us, like, I mean, you guys, this was obviously in the works before we started emailing back and forth. And then it
Yeah.
was just like, hey, yeah, I can do this. I know Mike would love to be here. And I mean,
Shout out to Guelph, baby.
yeah, shout out to Val, Acton. Mike, we miss you for sure.
Yeah, Mike. Shout out.
He's definitely having fun with the family and all that.
Yeah.
And, it's Easter weekend right now. I'm curious though, like, how did this all come about? Like, you were a chef, you had a catering company, you had your DJ, and then you're like, you know what? We're just doing this. How did the catering from home business start? Like,
Oh man,
what's going
that's
on
that was funny because I came to a point at a crossroads. I worked in the entertainment industry
Yeah.
for so long in my career that I felt like at one point, so I went from DJing to running and operating my own business for producing shows, corporate events, concerts, all kinds of stuff, working
Yeah.
with a lot of artists. But then the risk factor was so up and down, man. One day you make money and the next thing you're losing a lot.
Yes.
And then finally I'm like, I got to do something else with my career and get out of this kind of thing. And then one day, a friend of mine, he invited me to a Scotch tasting at his house at his place. We were
Ooh.
about 15 boys.
I mean, you
And,
gotta have a palate for Scotch.
Yeah, and you know, he hired a chef at home. Yeah, and the chef arrived, and the guy looked so unmotivated. The experience was really bad.
Yeah.
The food was incredible, but you don't ask a chef at home to overtake somebody's home.
Yeah.
As you're not there to be a jester or a clown.
Sure.
You're there to kind of entertain, but not take away from the moment that you're in someone's intimate space.
Gotcha.
Imagine just like being on. Listen, I was making wings today, and I was motivated enough to serve you. This guy's like serving food, and like, here's your. I was like, you're not gonna explain, like,
Yeah.
And after he left, I was like, that was so boring. And one of my buddies was like, you should do this. I'm like, I don't know how to cook. He's like, bro, you could do anything.
Yeah.
He's like, and then one of my friends is like, you should combine DJing and food together. And I actually thought about that.
Yeah.
In 2 or 3 days, I actually sat down and analyzed, is this a good idea? And I looked at, is anybody cooking Indian food at people's home? Nobody in the country is doing it. That led to within a
Other
week,
than like
curry,
natives, right? Other than like
yeah, but
Native
not
Indians,
experience like
East Indians,
entertaining
Yes.
music and like fun and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do I incorporate all these things into one time, all together?
Yeah.
And my designer at the time sent me my bird logo.
Yeah.
He's like, this is your new logo. And I'm a big comic book fan.
Okay.
And he put the big bubble, curry, curry. And that's where it started. And after that, I went with it. I went and self-taught my stuff. I went and bought masterclass with Gordon Ramsay, and I learned how to sharpen a knife.
Yeah.
I go home and ask my mom to coach me, and
Sure.
and it just I put the time, and I went to see every big chef that I knew in the industry.
Yeah.
That are close friends of mine to coach me.
Sure.
And I was going to the restaurants, taking notes, watching them cook, learning everything about food.
Yeah.
Putting in the work and time
That's awesome.
of everything. I was still DJing at the time,
Yeah.
but I was taking School of Hard Knocks without going to school,
Right.
and being self-taught and feeding information to my brain.
But your DJ job was like your night job, and then
That was my job. That was my
during the days-
full-time job.
but during the daytime you were teaching yourself, right? Fair, like
Yeah,
I know.
cooking. Hey man, the first time I remember going to the grocery store buying $80 worth of stuff,
Ooh.
and my wife at the time was like, "What's happening here?" I'm like, "I'm trying to learn how to cook."
Yeah.
And I practiced all day long. It was one of the coolest things ever. And now, being self-taught, some of the biggest accomplishments that I can pat myself on the back was one of the biggest culinary schools in Canada is in Quebec City.
Yeah.
When I got to a really high level in my culinary art for Indian food, I got invited to be a teacher there to teach people how to cook. there.
Dude, that's wicked.
And some of the best chefs that I've ever met in my career have their photos posted up in the hallways when you go in. And I was teaching people
Like the
chefs
Hall of
to
Fame.
learn how to cook
Wow.
Indian food.
Wow.
I was without going to school, man.
That's
I learned. I
wild.
self-taught myself.
That's wild.
So shout out to Gordon Ramsay, my favorite chef. Shout out to Masterclass. That is real, man. Masterclass is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You could learn how to play guitar by Santana, make beats by Timbaland. Masterclass was something that was during the COVID time. It all came out, and I put the time and effort and put in 90 to 100 hours studying, learning, coaching, like doing everything. I'm hustling, taking my hustling mentality as an entrepreneur and putting it towards cooking.
Yeah.
That's all I did. And I put all my
Hungry.
thing, and here I am still thriving, smashing, cooking, and using that still entrepreneurial mindset to make that happen.
And advancing, right? Like you're advancing
Yeah.
yourself, you're advancing Curry.
Yeah.
We're going to be advancing us,
Yeah.
Point Taken,
Yeah.
collaborating with Stray Dog,
Yeah.
like, we're always advancing, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Before I let you go here,
Yeah.
culinary philosophy, and not only culinary philosophy, but how to incorporate beers, specifically craft beer,
Oh,
into the food that you were creating. Like, I know I worked at Whitewater Brewing Company
Okay.
as a cook, not a chef, but as a cook. And I've said this a couple of times on the show that we would incorporate as much as we could into the beer, into the food.
Yeah.
We would make midnight stout brownies, which is the stout in the brownie. We
Yeah.
would put another beer inside the grainy mustard, and like we'd make all these things. So just speak on that, like Indo-Caribbean fusion. I got it.
Yeah.
Most people will see that as, okay, we're just combining curries and, spices.
Well, you
that's not
can't
it.
really incorporate like beer and curries and stuff, but more marinades.
But you could pair a curry with a beer.
Oh, yeah.
nowadays.
Okay. Listen, you go to any pub in London,
Yeah.
and you have Indian food. Well,
That's it.
listen, we know the story there.
Yeah.
But what I'm
Shout out
getting,
to India Trading Company.
what I'm getting to is most of the time when we do events like this,
Yeah.
It's more marinades. I mean, rubs, steaks, sauces, that kind of thing, where you could take stouts and
Yep.
stuff like that. But you know what? Who's the master of that? Chef Remy is.
I can't
He's
wait.
the guy. He's the guy that can really break down the beer element when it comes to smoking, creating the sauces. He's the master at that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give credit. Shout out to Remy for that, because he coached me a lot about that stuff with how to incorporate beers into certain things. The pairing element, well, that can be easily managed in terms of what you're serving. Sure. But if you want to continue that conversation,
I can't wait to talk to him. I can't wait to talk to him.
Listen, Andrew, I want to thank you again.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Pint Taken podcast. We're Curry. I'm Chef Darryl Massey. Andrew, love you. Mad respect to you and Mike. And can't wait to see you on the next show, buddy.
Yeah, man. This was a blast. And
Yeah,
again, thanks for inviting us.
Cheers, man.
Appreciate
Respect
you.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna get a little break, another little break here, and then when we come back, we're gonna talk to Chef Remy, and we're gonna talk
So
foods, and I'm sure I'm gonna have another tasty beverage from Stray Dog.
let's go. Stray Dog. Shout out.
Stay tuned for that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we got a little surprise guest here on the Pint Taken podcast. We've got Haico from Haico's Hot Sauce, who's the key sponsor to this hot wing eating contest today. Thanks for coming on.
You're more than welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So we were just chatting briefly, and I mean, you're 6 years you've been doing this commercially now.
Almost
20 years you've been in Canada.
correct.
So there and no good hot sauces.
I'll give you the rundown. I moved here 20 years ago from the Netherlands. My
Gotcha.
family's from Indonesia, India, and Suriname, so very diverse background on spices and food. And I
Yep.
moved to Canada. All I had was Frank's Kettle and Tabasco. And
Sure.
honestly, in my opinion, it has a place. But for me, it is basically vinegar with red coloring.
Right.
There were some super hots, but they use a lot of extracts, and I am more into natural sauces. So I started growing my own peppers out of a hobby 20
Yep.
years ago, made some sauces. My friends liked it. And one thing led to another. They said I should go commercial. I was lucky enough to fall down the stairs, which gave me a chance to do a Kickstarter 10 years ago.
Sure.
And that's how I got my starting capital. So we pre-sold the sauces that I had, got all the materials that we needed.
Yeah.
Been doing it ever since. And 6 years ago, I quit my full-time job and my handyman business, and I've been doing this ever since.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, I loved hot sauces. My stomach says otherwise now. That's partly because of these beers that I'm having, which I'm having the Raz Against the Machine raspberry lager beer. What are you drinking?
I am drinking the Shagan Wagon IPA. Now, there's
Yeah.
a fun little thing with that as well.
Yep.
Stray Dog Brewing Company, they actually asked me to make a hot sauce with their beer, which is the Shagan Wagon IPA. So we did a competition online for a name, and it became the Hounds of Hell. So Hounds of Hell is actually one of the hot sauces you can see in the lineup here tonight as well during the competition.
Oh, that's awesome. And you can buy all of your hot sauces on your website and through the Stray Dog online store.
Yes,
Okay.
Stray Dog does have fluctuation in the actual stock that is available here.
Okay.
They change it out every now and then.
Yep.
So the last one that you'll see here, that is the Devil's Brew,
Okay.
is currently not in stock, but the other ones, they are available, and I will be replenishing tonight as well. So
Perfect. And like we've been sitting down here for what, 2 minutes now, and you've already got a customer.
Well, there you go. Yes. People like good quality hot sauce, and apparently I make it. So.
I would say, I mean, you're the key sponsor or the key sponsor for the hot wing eating contest today, which is wonderful. I do want to dabble in these sauces, but right before we got on, we were talking, or I was mentioning like Blair's hot sauce.
Yeah.
You like it, and it's got a place and whatever, but what's different or why are we doing hot sauces?
Why are we doing hot sauces? Well, I'm doing hot sauces because, like I mentioned before, I couldn't find anything that was flavorful and hot. A lot of the super hot sauces, like Blair's, they use extracts. So
Yes.
they get the capsaicin, which is the active ingredient in hot sauces and peppers that react with your pain receptors. There's a whole story behind that. I'll be telling more about that later.
Sure.
But the problem with it is, for me, is I get a sensitive palate, even though I eat very hot.
Right?
If I eat an extract, I get a metallic aftertaste in my mouth that lasts for about 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
So I like hot, but I also want to have it all natural. So what I use is peppers that we grow ourselves.
Yep.
We got 2,000 plants that we put in the field each year, and they go anywhere from Hungarian wax, which is a very mild pepper, the Hungarian wax pepper, to the Carolina Reaper. And we got a pepper that is actually cultivated by a friend of mine in Germany.
Okay.
Which a lot of people say is hotter than a Carolina Reaper, but I'm not getting into a fight with Ed Curry to get it actually cultivated.
Yeah.
The Carolina Reaper. I just know what I have and what I put in my hot sauce.
Okay.
So another difference is that I use apple cider vinegar instead of white vinegar, which is way less harsh on your stomach.
Which is great for somebody like me who's got gastrointestinal issues.
Yeah.
I'm still probably not going to be like spoon feeding myself the hot sauces, but I am excited to see these guys' faces melt off later today.
And the way that I design a lot of my sauces as well is if you don't necessarily get the full brunt right away.
Yep.
You need to get flavor. Like I mentioned that before. So even my super hot, the Devil's Brew, what you'll get is you'll get sweetness up front because there's peaches, mangoes, garlic, fresh tomatoes, a lot of different ingredients in it that just give it a lot of flavor. And the sugars that come from the natural sweeteners just cuts through the initial heat, and that heat just relentlessly keeps on building up and go back. So
I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. What are you hoping for this hot wing eating contest? You want to see people sweating, their noses run uncontrollably, or what are we
it's always fun to see that. I mean, don't forget that these people are actually doing this for their own bragging rights, but also for the entertainment of the people that are going to be here. So I have to give them kudos. We organize a hot sauce expo each year in September as well. Same thing there. We've got a hot pepper eating competition. I always tell people, these people are doing a stupid thing for your entertainment. So make sure you cheer them on because it's not an easy thing to do. I've done it myself. Yeah. I only do it for charity right now. My bragging rights are long gone. I know what I can do, but it's always fun to see people actually get to the point that they're like, this is hotter than I was expecting. So.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, like I said, I mean, it's nice that you were able to come on and talk to us real quick here. Check it out. Check out the Haico's Haico hot sauce on their website. And we'll be looking for this later on during the contest. Thanks a lot for coming on.
You're welcome. So the website is Haico's with an S, hotsauce.com. And you can find everything there.
Perfect. Okay, we'll be back with Chef Remy after this. Okay, we're here. We're doing the last bit here for the Pine Taking Podcast on location at Stray Dog. We have now the man, the myth, the legend, Chef Remy. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Happy to have you.
Glad to be here.
First off, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking an IPA.
Yeah.
It's called the Shaggin' Wagon.
The Shaggin' Wagon. Yeah.
I'm an IPA kind of guy.
Yeah.
Don't give me anything else. It's IPAs.
Perfect. We have a guy, a brother of ours, a cousin of ours, a friend of ours, Chris. His go-to is IPAs, hazy IPAs. Thicker the better, cloudy the better. So I think that you guys would get along famously.
Yeah. Where's he at?
Well, he's not here right now. He's about 6 hours east of us.
Right.
Down home right now.
Cheers to Chris.
There's a family event going on. My partner on the podcast, Mike, my brother, he's hosting the entire family there right now. So I think I got the better end of the deal. I'm hanging out at a brewery all day. Of course, I have this one. That's exactly what it's called. It's this one. California. What are we looking at here? California Common, it's called. So we're going to see how that tastes and we'll go from there. Well, it's delicious. As every other beer I've had today at Stray Dog has been. That's easily over a 4.2 on Untapped. So
Kind of
You were
flavors you got there? Like,
it's like malty. It's almost like a lager, but not quite a lager. But also, it's more like an American pale ale.
those are good too.
They are
I
good.
like American.
Yeah, they're decent. This would be really nice in like mixed in with a mustard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like on a like a bratwurst sausage. That'd be so good. So good.
You know your stuff, man. You know your stuff.
Well, so we have met before, you and I, but we don't really know each other. So a little background about me is I worked at the Whitewater Brewing Company as a cook.
Oh, nice.
So we incorporated a lot of beer inside of our foods. And one of them was like an English ale called the Whistling Paddler into our grainy mustard for the charcuterie board.
Okay.
And it was delicious. So this would pair perfectly with that. So we try to, when I worked there, we try to incorporate as much beer as we could into our food. Sometimes it made it into the food. Sometimes it made it into our mouths. Whatever. No big deal. That's how it goes.
Name of the game.
But you were at an event earlier today. How'd that go?
Went really well, man. You know, that's just what we do. Sometimes Darryl takes part of one event. I take part of another, and you know, at the end of the day, we just sometimes just meet up. But most of our events they go really well, and just getting out there, meeting people, cooking for them.
Yeah.
You know, pairing food with different kind of drinks, wines,
Yeah.
beers,
Yeah.
even tequilas. Like these are all fun things. I know the event that I met you at was the taco festival.
Yeah.
And there was a plethora of beers.
Yeah.
We got to meet a bunch of people.
Yeah.
This is what we live for. This is what we like to do. So, I mean, every day that I get to do this for me is a great day.
Beautiful. And there were some craft spirits there, from what I remember. I'm not a big spirit guy myself, but you know, I've dabbled in the ryes and whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah, man.
So you're the Caribbean side of the Indo-Caribbean fusion of
Let
curry.
me correct that.
Yeah.
Latin Caribbean.
Latin Caribbean, and there is a big difference as well.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not just focused on the Caribbean side of things.
Yep.
My family roots, my DNA is Latin America, right? My family comes from Venezuela.
Yep.
We do have a lot of Trinidadian influence in our family. We do have a lot of Grenadian influence in our family. You know, pretty much all over the Caribbean. So, but our main source of all of our, you know, ingredients and who we are as a people is from Venezuela.
Yep.
So I do try to project that in a lot of our cuisine, a lot of our menu creation.
Sure.
So yeah, there's a lot of Caribbean influence, but then also there's a Latin fusion in it as well.
Beautiful. I love, like, we travel, my wife and I, and my daughter, we travel a lot to like the Caribbean, the Cubas, the Dominicans and stuff. And I mean, the Caribbean food is just so flavorful and fresh and spicy, but not like crazy hot spicy.
Yeah.
Unlike some of the Haico's hot sauce that was just displayed up there. I mean, I took a little dab, and I mean, you saw the effect on me.
Oh yeah.
It was not pretty.
I seen it, man, and yeah, that's some pretty hot stuff. Like, I enjoy cooking with spice, but I want you to enjoy it. You know, definitely we do have some dishes that are like up there with spice, right? Like, if you really want to burn your mouth and your backside, then we have something for that.
Sure.
And all the cultures probably have one or two dishes or a few dishes like that, but for the most part, spice should be enjoyed.
I agree. I like spice, but it's got to be not like face melting. You gotta taste the stuff, right? You gotta taste the ingredients. So
Exactly.
now, how did you get into cooking? How did you like link up with Darryl? How did Curry form? I mean, he kind of alluded to what was going on, but like, you have a passion for cooking, and the limited amount that I've spoken to you, you can feel that, you can hear it coming out of you, which is great to see. But like, how did that all start for you getting into cooking? And then how did it get you to sitting down with me?
Well, I mean, it all started with my dad. He, you know, I used to watch him cook a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I always showed interest in the kitchen, especially in my family. My grandmother, who helped raise me as well as a
Yeah.
kid, uh, always seeing her in the kitchen. She always showed me recipes. But then it didn't really start until my dad gave me a recipe book.
Yeah.
And it was mainly like, I think it was one of those my kids can cook or something like that. And I got
Okay.
it when I was like about 11 years old. And
Yeah.
it was mainly just like breakfast.
Yeah.
So I started with that easy stuff, breakfast, French toast, pancakes,
Sure.
eggs with bacon. And, I took it from there and I started cooking more elaborate dishes.
Yeah.
One day I found frozen quail in the freezer, and my dad wasn't home. And, I'm 13, just finished school, and I'm like, I want some jerk chicken. And I see
Yeah.
these little, I didn't even know it was quail. I didn't know what quail
Sure,
was.
right?
But for me, I thought it was a mini little chicken.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what did I do? I thawed it out, seasoned it up with some jerk marinade, popped
Right.
it in the oven, cooked it with some rice, and, we ate it. I ate it. It was good. My dad liked it. I liked it. And that was kind of like the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And, lo and behold, 20 some odd years later,
Yeah.
I started my own business doing catering.
Yeah.
And then, I had a chance to meet up with Darryl
Yep.
and take my business to the next level. So we kind of assimilated our business and, curry and
Here we are.
Remy catering became one, and now it's just curry.
Yep.
And that's where we are, man. Never looked back ever since.
Just onward and upward from there.
Always.
Pushing the envelope.
We have to. And
Yeah.
Darryl's a crazy guy. Like when it comes to cooking, like he's like a master with like the Indian cuisine,
Sure.
you know what I mean, the Asian flavors. And then like what I'm able to add as well with the Caribbean, Latin American fusion, and even like North American dishes. So we just blend that all together,
Yeah.
and we can do anything. We can literally do anything.
It's unlimited. And just like beer these days, right?
Yeah.
Like you can do anything with food, you can do anything with beer, as we're finding out, right? I mean, like Stray Dog here, they have a raspberry lager. It's delicious,
I
right?
swear I'll love that because I love anything that's fruity, raspberry,
so good.
strawberry.
If you haven't had it yet, get it. Because I've
Yeah.
been seeing a lot of these pink glasses going around today.
Yeah,
And
that's for me.
they might have been run out.
Have you ever had Fruity?
Had Fruity yet. Fruity's so
not
good.
like-
It's so good.
It's like a dessert beer. Like
It's almost illegal,
yeah.
right? And my partner Mike, he loves Fruity,
Oh, me too,
and
man.
he introduced me to that. Another one, like on the opposite spectrum of that, is Krabby's.
Krabby's.
The ginger beer.
I've never had that. I've heard of it, but I've never had
If
it.
you can find it, it is so good. Feels like it's like an aperitif almost. Like you want to eat it before or drink it before, but
Right.
because it's ginger, it'd be really nice afterwards, right? Start with the digestion stuff.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pair some beers. Like get a beer to start the menu off,
Yep.
and then one after your like a palate cleanser.
Absolutely.
And then one after the main, and then Fruity for the end of the night.
Fruity for the end of the night.
That's it.
You get a dessert beer, and they have so many types of beer out these days. They've got breakfast beers. They're out there. You've got, I mean, if you're not pairing a red ale with a steak, what are you doing? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's so much there, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. Like, is that a big factor for you in this world of catering? Like, are you and partnering with breweries as well? Are you factoring beer into some of your dishes, or are you building that around? Or
Definitely, yeah. So we've partnered up with a few local breweries,
Yep.
and we tend to kind of ask them or try all the beers on their menu, right?
Sure.
Just kind of see what works, and then we definitely try to pair a menu with it, right? So like if we're gonna do like a jerk chicken, I'll try to do like a stout, so I can season the jerk chicken with the stout because it just marinates the chicken so much
Yeah.
better.
Yep.
And it cooks very well. Or if you're doing something like fish, maybe like a light pale ale or
Right.
something like that. But yeah, we definitely try to pair the beers with the menu. It helps.
it totally makes sense, right? Because then you can just you unlock a whole other arsenal of food and cooking, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are upper echelon from what I can tell. And then just adding that to your repertoire will just take that to the next level, I think.
Yep.
Now, Chef Darryl, kind of dropped a little bit of a secret to
Oh.
us
Okay.
about you. And I got to ask, your dream is a food truck.
Yeah,
I love it.
definitely.
You parked that in my house on my street in Pembroke.
Yeah.
You'd be sold out every day.
Let's go. I mean, we need some investment, so that's what we're working on right now. Definitely, food truck is the ultimate goal,
Right.
You know, when I met Darryl, he kind of, wanted to just stick with the catering world.
Sure.
And
A brick and
I
mortar.
was like, you know what? No, he never really wanted a brick and mortar.
Okay.
He was more like, let's just do the, go from event to event.
Sure.
Let's do in-house. Let's do catering, whatever you need, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? What can help us even more is we just get a food truck.
Yeah.
We're not bound down to one location.
Nope.
We're not bound to the crazy overhead. And I mean, we could just do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, and he was like, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
He actually loved it. He loved the idea. So that's what we're working towards right now. And stay tuned. Keep an eye out for the curry food truck because it will be out there, and we will be going to events, and we're gonna be doing more and more weddings.
Yep.
Weddings is something that we recently started getting more into.
Nice.
So
Nice.
um,
Like a late lunch snack kind of deal, or like catering the
well,
whole thing?
we're catering the whole wedding. So we have a couple weddings lined up, and we're going to be catering the whole wedding, right?
Yeah.
From start to finish. But then also, having a food truck would help having, like the midnight menu.
Absolutely.
We could just pull up to wherever you are and serve whatever dish you want. And we could just switch up the menu. So whatever you like.
I highly recommend either the chicken curry or curry chicken taco, whatever orders you want to put that on your late night snack menu.
Curry chicken
Just going
taco,
in.
curry goat taco.
You were talking to me about the curry goat taco. And
Yeah,
I am in. I am in big time. What's up next for you guys?
So, I mean, we're going to have a busy summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. We thrive in the festival season, right? So one of our biggest events that we're going to be doing this year is the Escapade Festival.
Yep.
So we're going to be doing the artist world. We're going to be cooking for all the main artists.
Yep.
And the DJs that are going to be performing. So that's definitely one of our biggest events. We do have a few other events lined up for Quebec City.
Yep.
And Trois-Rivières. So yeah, like there's a lot of stuff happening.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know what, man? Like, thanks so much for inviting us to come here today. I appreciate
Thank
you.
Thank you.
That just does about that's enough for us today. We've had a great time.
Same here. I mean, I've only had one beer so far, but
Well, you're slacking. You got to catch up.
I've had a busy day. You know how it goes. But I'll be more than glad if you ever need to see us again. You want to sit down with us?
We'll be with
Hey,
you.
I think you need to come over to my house one day. We're gonna do a barbecue night.
I'm down.
I do crazy barbecue, smoke, brisket, crab, oysters, all that good stuff.
Today? Are we doing that today?
I mean, not today, but we can do it very soon. So
Yeah.
we'll I'll keep you in mind. I'll send you an invite,
Yeah,
and
hit me up.
we'll do that. And you could do it on my balcony while the sun sets. We could have a little podcast. You know what I mean?
Sounds romantic. I love it. I love it, bro.
Romance.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it for the Pint Taking Podcast on location at Stray Dog. Check us out, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're out everywhere. This was a super fun time. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.